Chasing Bold Dreams is an inspiring journey into the lives of dreamers who dared to defy limits and pursue their passions relentlessly. This book explores what it means to step beyond comfort zones, face fears, and transform bold ambitions into reality. Through real-life stories, practical insights, and motivational guidance, readers are encouraged to embrace their boldest dreams, no matter how impossible they seem. Introduction. Chasing Bold Dreams. Chasing Bold Dreams is more than just a motivational slogan. It is a way of life that embodies courage, resilience, and the unwavering belief that each of us can achieve extraordinary things, no matter how far-fetched or intimidating those dreams may seem at first glance. Throughout history, the world has been shaped not by those who played it safe but by individuals who dared to dream boldly and act with conviction in the face of uncertainty. This book is an invitation to embark on that same exhilarating journey, to confront the fears, doubts, and limitations that so often hold people back and to push beyond the ordinary in pursuit of something remarkable. Dreams are not just fleeting fantasies that pass through our minds during moments of inspiration. They are powerful internal visions that, when nurtured, have the capacity to shape reality itself. But chasing bold dreams is not easy. It requires stepping outside of comfort zones, enduring failure, facing criticism, and persevering through moments when success feels distant and impossible. Yet, the pursuit is always worth it, for it transforms not only the dreamer's life but often impacts entire communities and inspires future generations. In today's fast-paced, competitive, and often uncertain world, many people suppress their dreams under the weight of societal expectations, financial pressures, or fear of rejection. Others may have once dared to dream but lost their way after encountering obstacles, failures, or setbacks that seemed insurmountable. Chasing Bold Dreams seeks to reignite that spark within readers, reminding them that bold aspirations are not reserved for the few, the privileged, or the exceptionally talented. They belong to anyone with the courage to imagine, believe, and act. Drawing upon real-life stories, psychological research, and practical strategies, this book dismantles the myth that success is the result of luck or innate genius. Instead, it reveals how ordinary individuals from diverse backgrounds have achieved extraordinary outcomes by embracing discomfort, learning from failure, cultivating discipline, and refusing to settle for less than what their hearts truly desire. It explores the initial spark of a dream, those subtle whispers or flashes of inspiration that hint at a different, more fulfilling future, and shows how to listen to and nurture those inklings, turning vague hopes into concrete, actionable goals. It also addresses the inevitable fears that arise, the fear of failure, judgment, inadequacy, and even success itself, and provides tools for confronting and moving beyond those mental barriers. Readers will discover the immense power of having a clear vision, setting intentional goals, and cultivating a growth mindset that transforms challenges into stepping stones rather than roadblocks. Furthermore, Chasing Bold Dreams underscores the critical importance of surrounding oneself with supportive people. Mentors, peers, friends, and communities that uplift, challenge, and encourage the pursuit of greatness. No dreamer succeeds in isolation, and the influence of positive relationships often makes the difference between giving up and pressing forward. The journey toward bold dreams is rarely linear. It is filled with detours, surprises, failures, and lessons that test one's patience, determination, and faith. But through it all, those who persevere emerge stronger, wiser, and more aligned with their true purpose. This book emphasizes that chasing bold dreams is not solely about external achievements like wealth, fame, or status, though those may come. It is about personal growth, fulfillment, and the deep sense of satisfaction that arises from living authentically and bravely. The process of pursuing bold dreams stretches individuals beyond their perceived limitations, forces them to develop new skills, and teaches invaluable lessons about resilience, persistence, and self-belief. Importantly, Chasing Bold Dreams acknowledges that every person's definition of a bold dream is unique. What feels bold for one person may differ greatly for another. For some, it might be launching a business, writing a book, pursuing a creative passion, or traveling the world. For others, it may be standing up for a cause, building meaningful relationships, or simply believing in themselves after years of self-doubt. Whatever form it takes, this book encourages readers to honor their deepest ambitions and to understand that the first step, the decision to believe their dreams are valid and possible, is often the most courageous one of all. By exploring the stages of dream pursuit, from the first spark of inspiration to the inevitable roadblocks and ultimate transformation, Chasing Bold Dreams provides a roadmap for readers to follow, regardless of where they currently stand on their journey. It is filled with relatable examples, practical advice, and motivational insights designed to empower readers to take bold action in their own lives. Ultimately, This book is a testament to human potential and the extraordinary things that become possible when we choose to dream boldly and act with purpose. It reminds readers that bold dreams are not reckless fantasies. They are the seeds of progress, innovation, and personal fulfillment. They challenge the status quo, push boundaries, and inspire others to believe in their own potential. Whether you are at the beginning of your dream journey, struggling through the messy middle, or questioning whether to continue after setbacks, Chasing Bold Dreams offers encouragement, tools, and real-life stories to remind you that the pursuit itself is transformative. You will be challenged to examine your fears, rewrite your limiting beliefs, and take consistent, courageous steps toward the life you've imagined. No dream is too bold when fueled by determination, vision, and the willingness to embrace the unknown. Let this book be your guide, your companion, and your inspiration as you step onto the path of chasing bold dreams, and discovering just how far you can go when you dare to believe. Chapter 1: The Spark of a Dreams. Every bold achievement in history, every groundbreaking innovation, every life-changing personal transformation, starts with one common element: the spark of a dream, a seemingly small, often quiet, moment of inspiration that awakens within a person the idea that life can be different, bigger, more meaningful than it is right now. Chapter 1: The Spark of a Dream dives deep into understanding this essential beginning, the moment when a dream takes shape, whether as a sudden flash of clarity or a slow-burning realization that grows over time, igniting a fire within the soul. These sparks are not reserved for the privileged or the exceptionally talented. They are universal, appearing in the minds of anyone willing to listen to their inner voice, though too often, they are dismissed as impractical, unrealistic, or too overwhelming to pursue. Yet, history has shown that every great success story, from inventors like Thomas Edison to activists like Malala Yousafzai, began with the simple yet powerful spark of a dream that dared to challenge the ordinary. This chapter explains that the spark may come in different forms. It could be born from dissatisfaction with current circumstances, from witnessing injustice, from an intense curiosity about how things work, or from a deep longing for self-expression and fulfillment. Sometimes, the spark arises when we encounter a problem that no one else has solved, and we feel compelled to create the solution ourselves. Other times, it is born from childhood passions, lingering hopes, or moments of stillness where clarity finally breaks through the noise of daily life. No matter how it arrives, the spark of a dream is often subtle at first. It may manifest as a fleeting thought, a gut feeling, or a recurring idea that refuses to fade, and the greatest challenge is recognizing it for what it truly is: a call to action, an invitation to imagine more for ourselves and for the world. Many people overlook their sparks, brushing them aside in favor of practicality, routine, or fear of failure, but those who pay attention to that internal nudge, who pause to reflect and explore the possibilities, are the ones who set themselves on the path toward bold dreams. This chapter emphasizes that acknowledging the spark requires awareness and courage, because the very nature of dreaming boldly involves entertaining ideas that may seem impossible by conventional standards. Yet those impossibilities often hold the seeds of the most profound change. The spark of a dream is not always grand or world-changing in appearance. In fact, many of the most impactful dreams start with small, quiet desires to create, to improve, to express, or to challenge existing limitations. The chapter also addresses the internal resistance people face when the spark first appears. Doubts arise, voices of fear echo, societal expectations weigh heavily, and it becomes easy to convince oneself that the dream is unattainable. But in truth, the spark signals potential, not certainty. It does not guarantee success, but it offers a glimpse of what could be if one is willing to nurture it. Real-life examples illustrate this point, such as individuals who turned passing interests into thriving careers, who transformed personal struggles into global movements, or who followed quiet curiosities that led to scientific breakthroughs or artistic masterpieces. Furthermore, the spark of a dream explores how dreams evolve over time. The initial spark is rarely a complete vision, but rather the first step in a long, unpredictable journey of discovery, growth, and refinement. Dreams often shift, expand, or deepen as new experiences, failures, and insights emerge, but without the courage to honor that first spark, the journey never begins. This chapter encourages readers to reflect on their own sparks, the ideas, desires, or frustrations that keep resurfacing, and to view them not as distractions, but as clues pointing toward purpose and potential. It challenges the notion that dreams are frivolous or self-indulgent, instead framing them as essential drivers of human progress, personal fulfillment, and societal transformation. Through practical exercises and reflective questions, readers are guided to reconnect with the sparks they may have ignored, forgotten, or dismissed due to fear, busyness, or external pressures. The chapter also highlights how the environment plays a role in either nurturing or extinguishing dreams. The people we surround ourselves with, the media we consume, and the stories we believe about ourselves all influence whether our sparks grow into flames or fade away. Readers are encouraged to create space in their lives for curiosity, reflection, and exploration, because in today's fast-paced world, it is easy to overlook the quiet moments of inspiration that could ignite life-changing dreams. Finally, the spark of a dream underscores the truth that while dreaming boldly begins with an internal spark, it requires intentional action to fan that spark into a flame. The courage to take the first small step, to research, to learn, to speak the dream aloud, and to visualize its possibilities is what transforms fleeting inspiration into a lifelong pursuit. By the end of the chapter, readers understand that bold dreams are born from ordinary moments of frustration, wonder, passion, or even boredom, and that within those moments lies the potential for extraordinary transformation. It is not about having all the answers at the start, but about recognizing the value of the spark itself, nurturing it, and being willing to take imperfect action. Every dream that has ever changed the world, transformed a life, or inspired others began with a simple, quiet spark. And this chapter serves as both a reminder and a roadmap for anyone ready to pay attention to their own, knowing that from the smallest spark can grow the boldest dream. Chapter 2: Breaking Through Fear. The focus turns to one of the most significant obstacles that stand between a person and the pursuit of their boldest dreams. Fear, which for many, operates like an invisible barrier, subtle yet powerful, often paralyzing ambition long before it has a chance to take root. And in this chapter, readers are guided through understanding the complex, deeply human emotion of fear, how it manifests, and more importantly, how to break through it in order to take meaningful steps toward their aspirations. Fear comes in many forms, and as this chapter explains, it doesn't always appear as obvious panic or anxiety, but often disguises itself as procrastination, self-doubt, perfectionism, overthinking, or even false rationalizations that convince people their dreams are unrealistic or unnecessary. Yet beneath these behaviors lies the same core emotion: the fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of change, and at times even fear of success itself, because with success comes responsibility, expectations, and stepping further outside comfort zones. Breaking through fear acknowledges that fear is not inherently bad. In fact, fear has biological roots designed to protect us from danger. But in modern life, fear often attaches itself to imagined risks rather than real threats, convincing dreamers to stay small, play it safe, and abandon their deepest ambitions. The chapter explores how fear thrives in uncertainty and how the bold pursuit of dreams, by its very nature, is filled with unknowns, which triggers discomfort for most people. However, this discomfort is not a signal to retreat but rather an invitation to grow, because every meaningful accomplishment exists just beyond the edge of comfort zones, where courage and uncertainty meet. Through real-life stories and psychological research, the chapter illustrates how highly successful individuals, from entrepreneurs and artists to athletes and activists, have all confronted fear, not by eliminating it entirely, but by learning to move forward despite its presence, using fear as a guidepost rather than a stop sign. Examples include innovators who faced public criticism, creators who battled self-doubt, and everyday individuals who pushed past fear to make bold life changes, showing that fear is a universal experience, but those who break through it redefine what is possible for themselves and others. This chapter also dismantles the myth that courageous people are fearless, revealing instead that they have simply built resilience through repeated exposure to discomfort, failure, and risk, which gradually weakens fear's grip. Readers are introduced to practical strategies for breaking through fear, such as reframing fearful thoughts, focusing on small, manageable actions, building confidence through preparation, and cultivating a mindset that views setbacks as stepping stones rather than proof of inadequacy. Breaking through fear emphasizes the importance of self-awareness, recognizing personal fear triggers and understanding how past experiences, upbringing, or societal messages may have amplified fears around dreaming boldly. And through reflective exercises, readers are encouraged to confront limiting beliefs, challenge their inner critic, and rewrite the fear-based narratives that keep them stuck. One key insight is that fear often arises most intensely when we are closest to making meaningful progress, which means that encountering fear is not a sign of weakness, but evidence that we are stretching beyond limitations and approaching the edge of our potential. By embracing fear as part of the journey, rather than viewing it as a permanent barrier, individuals can build emotional strength and courage over time. The chapter also explores how fear of judgment and criticism holds many dreamers back. Especially in a world where opinions are amplified through social media and public scrutiny can feel overwhelming, yet readers are reminded that most critics are not taking bold risks themselves, and their opinions often reflect their own fears, not an accurate measure of the dreamer's potential. Additionally, breaking through fear highlights the fear of failure, which paralyzes many before they even start, but reframes failure as an inevitable and essential component of growth, providing examples of well-known figures who experienced multiple failures before achieving success, proving that setbacks are temporary, but regret from never trying can last a lifetime. Readers are guided to shift their focus from perfection to progress, understanding that consistent, imperfect action builds momentum and weakens fear's influence. This chapter also acknowledges the unique fears that arise for different individuals, whether related to financial insecurity, fear of disappointing loved ones, fear of inadequacy, or cultural barriers, and provides tailored approaches to address these concerns, reinforcing that fear is personal, but not insurmountable. Furthermore, the chapter explores how fear can sometimes be a mask for deeper emotions such as unworthiness or imposter syndrome, and encourages readers to unpack these layers with compassion rather than judgment. Through journaling prompts and mindset exercises, individuals are empowered to face their fears head-on, recognizing that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act despite it. By breaking fear into smaller, manageable pieces, and taking consistent, courageous steps, readers begin to build the confidence required to chase their boldest dreams. Ultimately, breaking through fear instills the understanding that fear never truly disappears, especially when pursuing dreams that stretch beyond the ordinary, but it can be managed, reframed, and even used as a source of motivation. The chapter leaves readers with the empowering message that their dreams are valid, their fears are natural, but their potential is far greater than their doubts, and every time they choose courage over comfort, they rewrite the story of what they are capable of achieving, proving that beyond fear lies the extraordinary life they've imagined. Chapter 3: The Power of Vision. The book delves into one of the most essential elements in turning bold dreams into reality: the ability to create, nurture, and stay focused on a clear, compelling vision for your future, because without vision, even the most passionate dreamers can become lost, distracted, or overwhelmed by obstacles along the way. This chapter emphasizes that vision is more than just having a vague idea of success. It is the ability to mentally paint a vivid, detailed picture of what your dream life looks like, feels like, and means to you, serving as both a guide and a source of daily motivation when challenges arise. It explains that while the initial spark of a dream gives birth to ambition, it is vision that transforms that ambition into direction, giving the dream structure, clarity, and measurable purpose. The power of vision draws on stories from entrepreneurs, leaders, artists, and change-makers who achieved extraordinary outcomes not because they had all the resources or answers from the start, but because they had a vision so strong, so emotionally charged, that it pulled them forward even when everything around them screamed that it was impossible. Vision is what allows people to see beyond current circumstances, limitations, or failures, and instead stay connected to what could be, helping them make decisions and take actions aligned with that bigger picture. This chapter also addresses the common struggle many people face: having dreams but lacking a clearly defined vision, and provides readers with practical strategies to cultivate one. The process begins with introspection, inviting readers to reflect deeply on their desires, values, and purpose, stripping away societal expectations and tuning into what truly excites and fulfills them, because vision cannot be borrowed from others or based solely on external measures like money or fame. It must come from within. The chapter highlights how vision is strengthened by specificity, encouraging readers to go beyond general goals like, "I want success," or "I want happiness," and instead articulate exactly what their ideal future entails, where they want to be, what they want to achieve, how they want to feel, and who they want to become. This mental clarity creates a powerful psychological effect, activating what neuroscientists call the reticular activating system, RAS, which filters information and helps individuals notice opportunities, resources, and connections aligned with their vision, essentially training the brain to support the dream. The power of vision also explores how vision provides resilience during hard times, because when the journey becomes difficult, and it always does, people who lack a clear vision often give up, while those with a strong vision are reminded of their why, giving them the emotional fuel to persevere. Real-life examples in the chapter demonstrate how individuals who faced enormous obstacles, whether financial hardship, societal rejection, or personal setbacks, were able to keep moving forward because their vision was bigger than their fears. The chapter also emphasizes the dynamic nature of vision, acknowledging that as people grow, learn, and evolve, so too can their vision, and this is not a sign of weakness or inconsistency, but of maturity and alignment with one's true self. Readers are encouraged to regularly revisit and refine their vision, allowing it to evolve while staying anchored to their core values and long-term purpose. Additionally, The Power of Vision confronts the limiting belief that vision is only for certain types of people, leaders, CEOs, or influencers, and instead asserts that everyone, regardless of their background, profession, or circumstances, deserves to have a vision for their life. Whether someone's dream is to build a global business, create meaningful art, contribute to their community, raise a loving family, or overcome personal limitations, vision is the foundation that turns those dreams into actionable steps. The chapter introduces visualization techniques, where readers practice mentally rehearsing their ideal future in detail, imagining success in all its sensory forms, how it looks, sounds, feels, which studies have shown enhances motivation, builds confidence, and increases the likelihood of achieving goals. However, the chapter also warns against becoming stuck in fantasy without action, reminding readers that vision is only powerful when combined with consistent, courageous effort. The Power of Vision includes reflective questions and exercises designed to help readers clarify their dream, align their daily habits with that vision, and cultivate the emotional connection necessary to stay committed, even when results are not immediate. It also explores how sharing one's vision with trusted mentors, friends, or communities can create accountability, attract support, and open doors that might otherwise remain closed. Furthermore, the chapter addresses the common fear of dreaming too big, explaining that bold vision often invites skepticism or criticism from others, but those external doubts should never dictate the size or scope of one's aspirations. History is filled with examples of people whose grand visions were initially ridiculed, only to later revolutionize industries, challenge societal norms, or inspire millions. Readers are reminded that vision is deeply personal, and while feedback can be helpful, no one else can define or limit the possibilities of what they can achieve. The Power of Vision concludes by reinforcing that vision acts as both a compass and an anchor, guiding individuals through uncertainty, helping them navigate obstacles, and reconnecting them to their purpose when they feel lost or discouraged. It invites readers to dream boldly, visualize frequently, and most importantly, to align their actions with their vision daily, understanding that no great achievement happens by accident, but through intentional focus, belief, and effort. By cultivating a powerful vision, individuals empower themselves to not only chase bold dreams but to become the person capable of bringing those dreams to life, proving that within every clear, unwavering vision lies the potential to reshape not just one's personal reality, but the world itself. Chapter 4: Lessons from Setbacks. The narrative shifts to one of the most inevitable and defining parts of any journey toward bold dreams: the setbacks, failures, disappointments, and unexpected detours that test not only a person's commitment but also their character, resilience, and capacity to grow. As this chapter emphasizes that while setbacks often feel like devastating roadblocks in the moment, they are, in truth, some of the most valuable and instructive experiences along the path to success. This chapter begins by reframing failure itself, challenging the deeply ingrained cultural belief that mistakes or setbacks are signs of incompetence, inadequacy, or proof that the dream is unattainable, and instead presents failure as a necessary, even essential, teacher in the process of growth. Through real-world examples from history, business, sports, and personal development, Lessons from Setbacks illustrates how nearly every remarkable achievement is preceded by obstacles and failures. Whether it's Thomas Edison's thousands of unsuccessful attempts before inventing the light bulb, Oprah Winfrey being fired from her early television job, J.K. Rowling facing repeated rejections before publishing Harry Potter, or countless entrepreneurs whose first businesses collapsed before they found success, the pattern is undeniable. Setbacks are not final unless you allow them to be. This chapter dives into the psychological and emotional toll of setbacks, acknowledging that failure often brings feelings of disappointment, shame, frustration, or even hopelessness, but these emotions, while uncomfortable, are not indications to quit. They are signals to reflect, adjust, and try again with greater wisdom and awareness. Readers are encouraged to adopt a growth mindset, a concept popularized by psychologist Carol Dweck, which frames abilities and success not as fixed traits but as outcomes that evolve through effort, learning, and perseverance, meaning that every setback holds hidden lessons that sharpen skills, strengthen character, and reveal weaknesses that can be transformed into strengths. Lessons from Setbacks explores how successful individuals cultivate resilience by analyzing their failures objectively, asking constructive questions like, What did this experience teach me? What can I do differently next time? And how did this reveal gaps in my preparation, strategy, or mindset? Questions that turn painful experiences into powerful growth opportunities rather than allowing them to define one's self-worth or future potential. The chapter also explains how setbacks often redirect people toward better paths they might not have considered otherwise, highlighting that some apparent failures are actually hidden blessings, forcing dreamers to rethink their approach, innovate, and discover solutions that ultimately lead to greater success than their original plan ever could. Stories are shared of innovators who stumbled upon groundbreaking discoveries only because their initial attempts failed, or individuals who realized that their true passion and purpose lay down a different road revealed through hardship. This chapter dismantles the illusion of overnight success, explaining that most accomplishments visible to the public, whether building a company, publishing a book, launching a career, or making social change, are built on a foundation of unseen setbacks, sacrifices, and relentless determination. Readers are reminded that comparing their behind-the-scenes struggles to others' highlight reels fosters self-doubt and discouragement, when in reality, setbacks are universal and no meaningful success story is free from them. Lessons from Setbacks provides practical tools for navigating failure, including strategies for emotional resilience such as mindfulness, reframing negative self-talk, seeking feedback, surrounding oneself with supportive mentors, and viewing every obstacle as temporary rather than permanent. Readers are encouraged to track their progress over time, recognizing that resilience is a muscle built through consistent practice, and that enduring one setback successfully builds confidence for facing future challenges. The chapter also addresses the societal stigma around failure, especially in environments that reward only success and perfection, urging readers to reject unrealistic expectations and embrace the messy, nonlinear reality of chasing bold dreams. Vulnerability is presented as a strength in this context. The courage to admit mistakes, share struggles, and ask for help not only accelerates learning but also fosters deeper connections with others on similar journeys. Lessons from Setbacks touches on the danger of perfectionism, which often prevents people from even starting their dream for fear of falling short, reinforcing the idea that progress, no matter how imperfect, is always more valuable than staying stuck in fear of failure. Readers are taught to celebrate small wins, to view detours as part of the adventure rather than deviations from success, and to cultivate patience, recognizing that growth takes time and that persistence is often the determining factor between those who achieve their dreams and those who give up too soon. This chapter also acknowledges the emotional exhaustion that can follow repeated setbacks, offering tools for self-care, reflection, and reconnecting to one's original vision when motivation wanes. It underscores the importance of perspective, stepping back from temporary failures to see the bigger picture, remembering that setbacks are often the very experiences that build the strength, humility, and wisdom required to handle future success with grace and purpose. Through personal stories, reflective exercises, and research-backed insights, Lessons from Setbacks empowers readers to see obstacles not as dead ends but as defining moments that shape their identity and capacity for greatness. The chapter concludes with the vital reminder that dreams worth chasing will almost always be accompanied by challenges, but it is precisely in navigating those challenges, learning from them, and refusing to quit that bold dreams become reality. Setbacks may slow you down, but they never have to stop you, unless you let them. And every failure holds within it the seeds of future success for those brave enough to keep learning, adjusting, and moving forward. Chapter 5: Building Your Tribe. The focus shifts to one of the most underestimated yet essential elements of achieving bold dreams: the people you surround yourself with. The tribe, the community, the circle of influence that either fuels your growth or drains your energy. And this chapter makes it unmistakably clear that no dream worth chasing can truly be achieved alone, because success, fulfillment, and resilience are all amplified by the relationships and support systems we intentionally cultivate along the journey. From friends, mentors, collaborators, and allies to coaches, family members, or peers, the people in your environment play a defining role in shaping your mindset, providing accountability, sharing resources, and offering encouragement during both triumphs and inevitable setbacks. The chapter begins by debunking the myth of the self-made individual, explaining that even the most iconic leaders, creators, or entrepreneurs, whether in business, the arts, activism, or innovation, rose to success through the support, belief, and contribution of others who shared their vision or provided critical guidance when the path became uncertain. Building your tribe emphasizes that carefully curating your tribe isn't about popularity or surrounding yourself with those who simply agree with you, but about intentionally seeking out people who inspire, challenge, support, and elevate you. individuals who believe in your potential even when you doubt yourself, and those who hold you accountable to your goals rather than enabling complacency. The chapter explores how humans are biologically wired for connection and how our environments, whether positive or negative, profoundly influence our behavior, mindset, and outcomes, with research in neuroscience and psychology demonstrating that the attitudes, energy, and expectations of those closest to us shape our confidence, risk tolerance, and even performance. Readers are encouraged to audit their current social circles with honesty, identifying who uplifts them, who drains them, who aligns with their vision, and who subconsciously limits their growth by projecting fears, doubts, or negativity onto their dreams. Building your tribe provides practical strategies for attracting the right people into your life, beginning with clarity, being clear about your values, vision, and the type of energy and support you seek, because when you operate from authenticity and alignment, you naturally draw in those who resonate with your purpose. The chapter highlights the importance of diversity within your tribe, not just in terms of background or identity, but diversity of thought, perspective, experience, and expertise, explaining that growth is accelerated when you are exposed to new ideas, constructive feedback, and challenges to your assumptions, all of which help refine your thinking and expand your possibilities. Real-life examples illustrate how successful individuals often credit their tribe. Mentors who offered wisdom, peers who shared resources, friends who provided encouragement, or even critics who challenged them to grow, for their breakthroughs and achievements. Building your tribe also delves into the power of mentorship, explaining that mentors need not be formal or even personal acquaintances, as guidance can come from books, podcasts, communities, or observing those who have walked a similar path. And readers are encouraged to actively seek out mentors, understanding that most successful people are willing to share their insights with those who demonstrate genuine curiosity, commitment, and respect for their time. The chapter also explores the concept of peer accountability groups, mastermind circles, and collaborative partnerships, all of which provide structure, motivation, and shared wisdom as individuals chase bold dreams together. Beyond personal benefit, building your tribe emphasizes that being part of a supportive community is reciprocal. You must also bring value, positivity, and support to others, creating an ecosystem where collective growth is prioritized over competition or comparison. The chapter warns against isolating oneself out of pride, fear of vulnerability, or the belief that asking for help is a weakness, asserting instead that true strength lies in building connections, seeking guidance, and collaborating with others, because isolation often breeds self-doubt, while community fosters courage and momentum. Building your tribe acknowledges that not everyone will understand or support your vision, and that as you grow, you may need to lovingly distance yourself from relationships that undermine your potential, while making space for new connections aligned with your evolving dreams. The chapter provides tools for managing unsupportive relationships, whether setting boundaries, limiting exposure to negativity, or communicating your goals with confidence, while reinforcing that your tribe should consist of those who empower you to stretch beyond your comfort zone, celebrate your wins, and stand by you through failures. Stories within the chapter demonstrate how building the right tribe has been a turning point for countless dreamers. Whether it's entrepreneurs finding co-founders, creatives connecting with collaborators, or individuals overcoming personal adversity through the support of like-minded communities. And readers are reminded that their tribe is not built overnight but through intentional effort, authenticity, and patience. Building your tribe concludes by reinforcing the truth that while bold dreams are deeply personal, they are realized collectively, through the energy, insight, and unwavering belief of those who walk the journey with you. Readers are invited to take inventory of their current relationships, to seek out spaces where dreamers, leaders, and creators gather, to nurture existing supportive connections, and to courageously let go of relationships that no longer align with their growth. In doing so, they create an empowering environment where their vision is not only protected but amplified, where they are reminded of their potential in moments of doubt, and where shared wisdom accelerates their path to making bold dreams a reality, proving that success is rarely a solo endeavor. It's built within a tribe. Chapter 6: Staying the Course. The book addresses what is arguably one of the hardest yet most vital aspects of chasing bold dreams: the ability to persist, to endure, and to stay fully committed when the initial excitement fades, when progress feels slow, when obstacles become overwhelming, or when doubt creeps in, because the journey toward meaningful success is rarely a straight line and often tests patience, discipline, and emotional resilience in ways most people underestimate. This chapter highlights that while vision, passion, and planning are essential starting points, they mean little without the tenacity to continue showing up consistently, especially when the results are invisible, the motivation is gone, and the temptation to quit feels almost irresistible. Readers are reminded that countless people begin their journey with enthusiasm, yet only a small fraction persist long enough to see their dreams materialize, not because they are more talented or lucky but because they have mastered the discipline of perseverance, developing an inner resolve that fuels them beyond temporary feelings or external validation. Staying the course acknowledges the emotional roller coaster of pursuing ambitious goals, from the exhilarating highs of early momentum to the frustrating plateaus where it seems like nothing is working, and emphasizes that these emotional cycles are normal, expected, and part of the growth process rather than signs of failure. The chapter introduces the concept of the messy middle, that unavoidable phase between the excitement of starting and the satisfaction of achieving results, where uncertainty, setbacks, boredom, and fear can derail even the most passionate dreamer unless they've cultivated the mental toughness and strategic habits necessary to push through. Stories of successful leaders, artists, athletes, and entrepreneurs illustrate how nearly every bold achievement is marked by a period where quitting seemed easier than continuing, yet those who stayed the course are the ones who reap the rewards, often discovering their greatest breakthroughs immediately after their most challenging moments. Staying the course explores practical tools for building this perseverance, including establishing daily routines that reinforce progress, breaking large dreams into manageable milestones to sustain momentum, and celebrating small wins to maintain motivation. It discusses the role of discipline, not as punishment, but as a liberating structure that keeps your actions aligned with your vision even when your emotions waver. The chapter also delves into the science of habit formation, explaining how consistent, small actions compound over time to create significant results, and how reliance on willpower alone is insufficient, making systems, accountability, and environment design essential for long-term success. Readers are encouraged to anticipate moments of discouragement and to proactively prepare strategies to navigate them, whether through journaling, revisiting their why, seeking encouragement from their tribe, or visualizing the long-term rewards of staying committed. Staying the course also addresses the power of flexibility within persistence, highlighting that staying the course does not mean rigidly clinging to methods that no longer work, but maintaining unwavering commitment to the end goal while adapting strategies as needed, much like a ship adjusting its sails to changing winds but never losing sight of its destination. Examples are provided of innovators, athletes, and creators who faced repeated failures, rejections, and detours yet remained committed to their vision by adjusting their approach without abandoning their dreams. The chapter warns against comparison traps that arise when observing others' progress, reminding readers that every journey is unique, timelines vary, and comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20 only fuels frustration and premature quitting. Staying the course emphasizes the critical role of mental endurance, teaching readers to develop resilience by reframing challenges as growth opportunities rather than insurmountable barriers, and understanding that emotional setbacks, doubt, fear, fatigue, are inevitable but temporary if navigated with self-awareness and self-compassion. Readers are reminded that mastering persistence is as much about mindset as it is about action, requiring the cultivation of patience, emotional regulation, and faith in the unseen progress happening beneath the surface. Much like seeds planted in soil that take time to sprout, the chapter introduces reflective practices to track growth, such as reviewing past achievements, acknowledging how far one has come, and reinforcing belief in one's capabilities, all of which fortify the commitment to continue. It also explores how staying the course is not a solitary endeavor, and how leaning on your tribe for encouragement, perspective, and shared wisdom can reignite motivation during difficult seasons. Staying the course dismantles the myth of instant success, illustrating how media often glamorizes overnight achievements while concealing the years of unseen struggle, discipline, and rejection behind them. The chapter teaches that endurance is built like a muscle, through repetition, challenge, and conscious effort, and that each time you resist the urge to quit, you strengthen your capacity to persevere in the face of future obstacles. Readers are encouraged to reframe slow progress not as failure, but as the natural rhythm of meaningful work, understanding that mastery, fulfillment, and transformation require sustained effort over time. Personal anecdotes and examples from fields as diverse as entrepreneurship, sports, art, and social change reinforce that success belongs to those who show up consistently, who refuse to let temporary discomfort or external doubts derail their long-term vision. Staying the course concludes with the powerful reminder that anyone can feel motivated for a day, a week, or a month, but it is those who stay the course, who wake up day after day, recommit to their vision, take the next step despite fear or fatigue, and trust the process, who ultimately transform bold dreams into reality. The chapter leaves readers with actionable steps to strengthen their persistence, including creating daily anchors that reconnect them to their vision, building support systems for accountability, celebrating incremental progress, and embracing the inevitable discomfort as evidence of growth, all reinforcing that the true differentiator between dreamers and achievers is not merely talent or luck, but the willingness to stay the course long after the initial excitement fades, knowing that success, by design, rewards those who refuse to give up. Chapter 7, titled Redefining Success. The book takes a reflective and powerful turn, inviting readers to reconsider one of the most influential yet often misunderstood concepts in their pursuit of bold dreams: success itself, because while society tends to promote rigid, external markers of success, such as wealth, fame, titles, or material possessions, this chapter emphasizes that true success is a deeply personal, evolving, and internal experience, one that must be defined by the dreamer rather than inherited from cultural, familial, or societal expectations. Redefining success begins by exposing how many ambitious individuals chase a vision of success that isn't authentically their own, only to arrive at achievements that feel hollow, exhausting, or unfulfilling, illustrating how climbing the wrong ladder can be as detrimental as never pursuing a dream at all. The chapter explores how traditional definitions of success are often shaped by comparison, competition, and conformity, causing people to measure their worth and progress against others' timelines, achievements, or lifestyles, which can lead to constant dissatisfaction and self-doubt. Through personal stories and real-world examples, readers are shown how redefining success requires turning inward, asking courageous questions about what truly matters, what brings joy, meaning, and alignment, and how one's values, not external applause, should serve as the foundation for determining whether a life is truly successful. Redefining success emphasizes that fulfillment, purpose, and inner peace often outweigh status, money, or accolades, though it acknowledges that material achievements are not inherently negative. They simply lose their value when pursued without alignment to deeper personal truths. The chapter introduces the concept of holistic success, which integrates not only career milestones but also health, relationships, contribution to others, personal growth, and emotional well-being, arguing that a lopsided definition of success, focused solely on achievement at the expense of well-being, leads to burnout, disconnection, and regret. Readers are encouraged to reflect on how their current vision of success may have been inherited from family, education systems, media portrayals, or peer pressure, and to bravely question which aspects resonate and which need to be released or rewritten. Redefining success challenges the glorification of busyness and constant hustle, revealing that relentless striving without mindful reflection can create a cycle of achievement addiction, where no milestone feels enough, and where individuals chase external validation while losing sight of their true desires and values. Stories are shared of successful entrepreneurs, artists, leaders, and everyday individuals who appeared accomplished by society's standards but later realized they had sacrificed health, happiness, relationships, or authenticity in the process, prompting them to redefine success in ways that honor their holistic well-being and true aspirations. The chapter explores how success is not a static finish line but an evolving, lifelong journey, and how what feels like success at one stage may shift dramatically as one's experiences, values, and priorities evolve, encouraging readers to periodically reassess and refine their definition of success without guilt or fear. Redefining success also addresses the courage it takes to define success differently from societal norms, such as choosing fulfillment over fame, impact over income, simplicity over status, or authenticity over approval, highlighting that living by your own definition requires clarity, confidence, and resilience in the face of judgment or misunderstanding from others. Readers are given reflective exercises to uncover what success means to them, exploring questions like, what brings me deep joy and peace? What kind of impact do I want to have? How do I want to feel along the journey, not just at the destination? And what am I willing to let go of to honor my true definition of success? The chapter also introduces the concept of quiet success, emphasizing that many of the most meaningful achievements, such as nurturing mental health, building loving relationships, developing character, or making a positive difference in small but powerful ways, often go unnoticed by the world but are the foundations of a fulfilling life. Redefining success invites readers to release the pressure of living for others' approval, reminding them that success measured by external applause is fleeting, while success rooted in personal alignment creates lasting satisfaction. Examples are shared of individuals who stepped away from prestigious careers, societal expectations, or unsustainable lifestyles to pursue work, relationships, or contributions that aligned with their deeper sense of purpose, illustrating that bold dreams are not always about scale or fame but about meaning, impact, and integrity. The chapter explores how redefining success also builds resilience, because when success is based on internal fulfillment rather than uncontrollable external factors, individuals are less shaken by setbacks, rejection, or fluctuations in public perception, allowing them to stay grounded and motivated in their journey. Readers are reminded that success is deeply individual. What feels like thriving to one person may not resonate with another, and that honoring this uniqueness is essential to living authentically and joyfully. Redefining success concludes by encouraging readers to integrate their personal definition of success into every decision, action, and goal, ensuring that the pursuit of bold dreams enhances rather than diminishes their overall well-being and values. By doing so, they avoid the common trap of achieving everything they thought they wanted only to feel empty or disconnected, and instead create a life where success is measured not only by milestones achieved but by the fulfillment, growth, and positive impact experienced along the way. Ultimately, this chapter reminds readers that the boldest dream they can chase is not one dictated by others but one crafted from their deepest truth, where success is redefined on their terms, creating a life of purpose, joy, and authentic achievement. Conclusion. In the conclusion of Chasing Bold Dreams, the book weaves together all the insights, lessons, and reflections from the previous chapters into a powerful, heartfelt message that reminds readers their boldest dreams are not just distant possibilities reserved for a select few, but real, attainable outcomes for anyone willing to embrace the journey with courage, perseverance, and authenticity, emphasizing that the pursuit of bold dreams is not solely about external achievements but about becoming the version of yourself capable of living that dream with integrity, resilience, and fulfillment. The conclusion begins by reflecting on how every great achievement starts with a spark, the initial whisper of possibility, the quiet calling deep within that dares to imagine life beyond the ordinary, and it reminds readers that while chasing bold dreams requires vision, action, and grit, it also demands self-belief, patience, and a willingness to grow through discomfort, setbacks, and uncertainty. The book reinforces that dreams are not fulfilled overnight and rarely unfold in a straight, predictable line, but rather through a series of imperfect steps, failures that teach resilience, detours that offer unexpected insights, and moments of self-doubt that ultimately strengthen your resolve. Chasing Bold Dreams concludes by reminding readers that fear is an inevitable part of the process, not a signal to stop, but an invitation to rise, to expand beyond limitations, and to reframe fear as evidence that you're stepping into new, uncharted territory, which is precisely where growth, fulfillment, and transformation reside. The conclusion reflects on how critical it is to redefine success along the journey, urging readers to reject superficial, one-size-fits-all measures of achievement and instead craft a deeply personal vision of success rooted in joy, contribution, authenticity, and alignment with one's true values. It highlights that bold dreams are often about more than individual achievement. They are about impact, about inspiring others through your courage, about proving to yourself and the world that it's possible to rise above doubt, fear, and limitation to create something meaningful. Readers are reminded that the pursuit of bold dreams will stretch them, challenge them, and at times exhaust them, but that every setback, rejection, and moment of uncertainty is shaping them into the person capable of holding the success they envision, and that growth is happening even when progress feels invisible. The conclusion emphasizes the importance of staying the course, surrounding yourself with a tribe that uplifts, challenges, and believes in your potential, and cultivating daily habits that anchor you to your vision even when motivation fades. It acknowledges that chasing bold dreams will at times feel lonely, confusing, or overwhelming, but that clarity comes through action. Confidence is built through small wins and resilience is forged through overcoming adversity. Chasing bold dreams ends with an invitation to stop waiting for the perfect moment, the flawless plan, or the absence of fear, and instead to start now, imperfectly, boldly, knowing that momentum is built by showing up, by taking the next step, by daring to believe that your dreams matter, and that you are worthy of pursuing them. The book concludes by affirming that the world needs more people willing to live courageously, to reject the limitations imposed by fear, doubt, or societal expectations, and to model what's possible when one chooses boldness over comfort. It reminds readers that their dreams, no matter how unconventional or ambitious, are valid, achievable, and necessary, not only for their own fulfillment but for the ripple effect their courage creates in inspiring others to dream and rise. Finally, Chasing Bold Dreams leaves readers with the lasting message that the pursuit of bold dreams is not merely a destination to reach but a way of living, with purpose, intention, and unwavering belief in what's possible. Because at the end of the journey, success is not defined solely by external accomplishments, but by who you became, how you lived, and the legacy of courage and inspiration you leave behind.